Philosophers have debated the appropriate scale of government and its power to control relative to the population of people since antiquity. Both Thomas Hobbes and Aristotle offered political philosophies that struggled with issues of control of the people and the problem of scale. And this video is going to discuss each one of their particular approaches. Aristotle held that the population of a polis should be large enough to become self-sufficient in all mere necessaries on the one hand, but also small enough to allow the citizens to know each other, to hold their leaders accountable, and have a voice in matters of common concern. As he contends, there must be a population limit because if the citizens of a state are to judge and to distribute offices according to merit, then they've got to know each other's characters. And where they don't possess that knowledge, says Aristotle, both the election to offices and the decisions of lawsuits will go wrong. In contrast, Thomas Hobbes, writing in Leviathan, he considers the state of man to be nasty and brutish. And he argues that without a government with a strong enforcer of laws, humanity would be in basically a state of constant chaos and war and crime. He says that the condition of mere nature, that is, of absolute liberty, is anarchy and the condition of war. So Hobbes views this absolute liberty, which we might think that sounds pretty nice. He sees it as a dangerous state that leads to anarchy, and therefore we, the people, should desire a strong and central government that enforces laws, even if it means we have to tolerate some level of totalitarianism and authoritarianism and oppression and that sort of thing, because laws that protect and a government that prevents anarchy are better goals, says Hobbes, than complete liberty. In other words, to Hobbes, a strong state is preferable to this basic state of nature. Um, Thus, the government, in his understanding, is a Leviathan of sorts, controlled by one man or a smaller group of men whose power comes from the people. Even though people give up their liberties, some of them in such a system, it's better than the chaos of the alternative, says Hobbes. Aristotle advocates for an idealistic form of government, essentially like a meritocracy that was for the people and by the people, led by the most well-equipped leaders in a society. Sounds great. Don't we all want that? A government by the best of the best? And I completely agree in principle, but one wonders about the relevance of that in the modern era. It sounds a little idealistic. Because, as Aristotle explains, such a government must be concerned with small populations. For instance, I live in the relatively small city of Salinas, California. I've been called up for jury duty a couple of times. And despite the fact that Salinas is not even population wise in the top 160 cities in America, we've only got like 160,000 people here. There is no possible way for me to know the people of this city well enough to know their character. So, in that way, how can I make good decisions in lawsuits concerning them according to the Aristotelian method? In modernity, Aristotle's theoretical government fails to account for the massive population numbers that are now present, nor does he seem to fully appreciate the depravity of man. On that, Thomas Hobbes presciently writes, there is always war of everyone against everyone during the time men live without a common power to keep them all in awe. So the nature of war consisteth not in actual fighting, but in the known disposition thereto. In other words, Hobbes says, without government to control people, people will go to chaos and be at war with each other and might mates right, all that kind of good stuff. Hobbes knows us well, and rightly he argues the need for a stronger, more centralized government than does Aristotle. Thanks.